Hello everyone, this is Mr. Speak, and I'm doing my chapter on Bleach 470. No title. I don't see a title in the chapter, so if I find it out, I'll put it in the video title. In any case, we cut back to the Rukia fight. Rukia. Ugh. Tongue twister. In any case, Ruruka's trying to pick up Rukia in her doll form, and Rukia is not having any of it. We learned something interesting. She's still able to use some of her Shinigami techniques. She's still able to flash step. However, one moment, please. She doesn't have that much luck trying to use Keto, apparently. She's still inside, like, the doll at some extent, not in the sense of fusion of her and the doll. So she tries to use it and explodes within the doll form. In any case, we finally get to the Ichigo Ginjo fight, and we learn something pretty interesting. Ishida's trying to scope him out. Ichigo's trying to actually fight the guy. But Ichida was trying to find out something interesting, and it's finally confirmed that Ginjo can use some of Ichigo's techniques. Namely, we see him using Getsuga Tensho. However, something even more interesting happens in that Ichigo tries to, attack him, but Ginjo just slices right through the attack and launches one of his own, namely Getsuga Tensho, if you didn't guess. So, to what extent is he able to use Ichigo's powers? And, admittedly, I don't know, I was still kind of feeling it was a weak kind of reveal. We already knew he was going to be able to use Ichigo's powers, but simultaneously, I didn't expect it to go to that extent. If it goes to even further, that'd be pretty interesting, but simultaneously, who the hell cares? I mean, Ginjo is a good fighter, don't get me wrong, but simultaneously, if Ichigo couldn't properly combat him because Ginjo could just easily absorb his powers again, then that'd be one thing. But we don't really see that much of this chapter. He was able to slice straight through Ichigo's attack, however, that can be attributed to strength. In any case, we cut back to the Rukia fight. Rukia is pretty banged up inside the doll, and Ruruka's pointing her love gun at her. And Rukia, at this point, is I don't know if she's really that badly hurt. Her Keto spell did, in a sense, backfire on her, but we don't see how hurt. We can't really tell how hurt she is. The doll is kind of pretty banged up, but again, it's not a complete fusion between her and the doll, so maybe it's just the doll and nothing else. In any case, she's like asking Ruruka why is it so important that you are not normal? And Ruruka's like, yeah, because if she wasn't normal, she wouldn't be able to meet, Tsukishima and Ginjo and all that. And admittedly, she doesn't seem too enthusiastic about fighting and all that. And we can kind of see it earlier in her fight, like when Rukia is like running around with her flash steps. She's not that fast, so. But simultaneously, she doesn't seem to, put off having met these people because she was able to realize the full extent of her powers. So we'll probably get more in that next chapter. However, she's starting to go off in like a little speech, and that's all fine and good as long as they wrap it up in some good time. In any case, not much this chapter. We did get to some Ichigo Ginjo fight, so that's an instant plus in my opinion. We get some views into that fight. Ishida's reveal, not that really earth-shattering because we kind of knew that. I didn't expect him to be able to use like Getsuga Tensho. I just thought he was going to use like that swastika attack that Ichigo's full brain had done in the past. However, Ginjo does look a little bit beat up. Maybe that's just from earlier when Ichigo launched the first Getsuga Tensho at him. But yeah, I don't know. We haven't seen too much of their fight. We don't know how much powers Ichigo's gotten back. We know at least he's gotten Shikai and a mix of that in his full brain. Does he have his Bankai back? Don't know. In any case, yeah, it was a pretty good chapter in my opinion. We get some insight on the Rukia fight. It was kind of hilarious. It's Ruruka versus a doll. It's Ruki inside the doll, but still funny. So overall, I give it a 7.58 out of 10 for Bleach. Average manga 6.57, just because not a lot of action. It was kind of comical, but at the same time, it falls victim to some of the stuff that you see in your average Bleach chapter, namely that not a lot happens during the fight. I mean, before we had like, okay, one one fight finishes and we see, you know, a little bit into another fight, and that was it. And that was pretty good a format in my opinion, just because it handled things quickly against these opponents who obviously don't know what they're up against. Sugashima somewhat knows, but that's because he's got a powerful ability backing him up. Otherwise, you know, they're all pretty much screwed because they're not that much of fighters in terms of like Shinigami class, well, Captain class fighters. Again, I'll say, you'll hear me say this a lot. I only think they're lieutenant level and not fully realized lieutenant at that. It's just like when with Aizen Sen's Hogyoku or his hypnosis powers. He would have been, you know, if it would have been versus the captains, do I think he would have been able to get some good hits in? Definitely. Simultaneously, do I think he would have been able to win without his hypnosis? No. And just like later on with him versus Yamamoto and everybody else, without the Hogyoku, he would have died, people. I think we all realize that, even without it being spelled out to us by Aizen himself. So, yeah. In any case, how did you think of the chapter? What do you think is going to happen in terms of like the Ichigo Ginjao fight, since we finally see that somewhat? Or what do you think Ruruka is going to go off and spiel about? And what do you think is going to happen to their fight? Do you think she's going to, you know, like stop? Because that's one of the things that was brought up with the Yukio's Toshiro fight, was that he's not sure even if they kill these people or, you know, like knock them unconscious or anything to scale back the carnage a little bit, that their abilities would stop. So even if Rukia was able to come back from behind and knock, very least knock Ruruka out or kill her, she doesn't seem to want to kill her, but kill her, would she get out of the door? Probably not. Then again, Ruruka's power was a notable exception in that before, when Ichigo was in her dollhouse, when it was damaged by Tsukishima's attack, Ichigo just popped right out of there. I don't know if that works the same for her dolls, but it's a possibility. In any case, comment, rate my video below. In any case, this has been Mr. Speak, signing off.